Wayfeather Media presents Clairvoyaging.
Hello.
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 Howdy do.
Howdy doody.
Welcome to another episode of Clairvoyaging.
Clairvoyaging. Today's episode,
Yes.
as you know, is about dreams. This is part of a new series we're doing. We have the Travelogue series where we kind of talk about how signs and just interesting things that happen while we or others are going about their daily lives. But today, it's about dreams and dream visitations and signs that happen while we're not so conscious.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
this one comes from my brother. My brother Josh. What?
I don't know. This one comes from my brother.
Why I sounded so southern. This one comes from my brother.
Give us a background.
Okay. So this is my brother Josh's story of a dream visitation that he had recently about our brother Ian, who died 19 years ago. As a lot of our listeners know, if you want to hear more about Ian and the signs he's left me, listen to my episode called Travelogue, The Corn and the Orb. So Josh had a dream visitation of him, and this is our conversation about it. I just want to preface all of this with the fact that my brother Josh is probably the biggest skeptic I know.
Biggest skeptic.
He lifelong just does not believe anything. He wants proof. He doesn't believe most stories. Astrology, he's like, that's not real.
He's a man of science, and we respect him for it.
Yes, it takes a lot to convince him that something is real. So a lot of his beliefs fundamentally changed when our niece Gwen had her psychic event last year. It was like life-changing for him just to hear about. So now he actually believes in that there's something that happens after we die. There are spirits. He was like, well, now I believe it. And he's told me he has way less fear when it comes to dying. That helped change his mind about it too, like take away a lot of the fear. So that's what makes this story extra cool, because it's like he is in it in his dream.
Right.
He's like fully like, I was visited by our brother Ian.
Oh, and if you want to know more about what happened to our niece Gwen, you should just start from the top. Go to episode 1. Check it out.
Yeah.
And I guess if you don't know, welcome to Clairvoyaging. My name's Frank. This is my wife, Lauren, and we get weird. Before we move on with the episode, I have a couple of housekeeping notes.
Tell me.
Okay. The first one's super boring. Our Buy Me a Coffee site was...
Just kidding.
Buy Me a Coffee our site was down, or at least some of the buttons weren't working. Some of the buttons were invisible. So if you tried to give us any support, which thank you so much, it wasn't working. And honestly, I wouldn't have caught it. Our good supporter, Will G, let us know all about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will, again for being a stand-up gentleman.
I mean, just a solid fan, supporter, friend.
Yeah. It's working now. Well, except for when I went on earlier today and it was in Spanish, but I think that was more of a personal problem.
That was a Frank issue.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this in Spanish?
Yeah.
It took a little troubleshooting. We got it.
It's up now. Go to www.buymeacoffee.com/clairvoyaging if you want to give it a look-see.
That's the one. So thank you for your support and your continued support in the future.
One last thing. While we're on the subject of dreams, I wanted to plug my buddy's website that he's building. The website is actually called Dream Paths. So we are naming this series of episodes after the website. My buddy Nate, I've known him for a long time, Nate Sigurd, he's done a couple of remarkable things, quite a smart gent. But this particular project he's working on is an online dream journal. So you can log in there. What you do is you basically describe your dream, and it uses AI to analyze your dream and create relational metadata. So you can kind of track and find trends in your dreams, or you can compare them to the community if you wish to do so publicly. You don't have to, though. Also, the really cool feature about it, which is maybe it's just an aesthetic thing, but it uses your dream description to generate an AI image. So it kind of creates like a really cool framed image of what your dream is, so you can more easily remember it. So it's not just a bunch of words everywhere.
That's cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool. So go check it out. The website is dreampaths.net. It's in a closed beta right now, so I think it's invite only, but you can sign up to the newsletter and keep tabs on it, see how it's going.
And if you have a story of a dream visitation or a time you followed your intuition or a sign that you've received from the universe or a loved one that's passed away, send it over to us.
Go to clairvoyaging.com and click on submit a story, and there's instructions there.
Yeah. And with that, please enjoy the story of Josh's dream visitation.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I don't have every detail perfect because it was a dream. Some things I'm very sure about this before. First of all, I've never died in a dream. I've always woken up before I died. And I've had hundreds, dozens of dreams where I'm about to be dead. About to drown, about to hit the ground, about to be shot, about to. So in this dream, though, I was in the passenger seat, and the kids were in the back, and Emily was driving. And then all of a sudden, I just heard a loud noise, right? And then after I heard the loud noise, I was standing outside the car behind it. And I'm like, how did I get here? And then I looked into the car, and I could see the kids and my wife were okay, but I was slumped over. I'm like, oh my God, did I just die? What are my kids gonna do? What is Emily gonna do? They're gonna have to mourn me. They depend on me. How could they live without me? How could I let this happen? How could this happen? And then as I'm thinking those things, actually my body was still moving a little bit. And as it stopped, I saw me in the car breathing heavily. And as the breath slowed down, this hole started to grow under me, started as like a pinhole, started to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And I knew that I would fall into it. Now, I don't believe in heaven or hell. So to me, there's no negative symbology about going down. So eventually, I fell in this hole. All of a sudden, I was in this green field. And there was no one there except somebody standing off in the distance. And I could tell from behind it was Ian. And as I started to move and walk, I felt like I was floating more than walking and going way faster than I should have. He looked like he was a half a mile away, but I got to him really fast. And he turned around and I go, Ian? He says, hey. I said, I think I just died. He said, yep. I said, what are my kids going to do? What's everybody going to do? He said something like, that's not up to you. Or that's not your concern. Okay, well, how long have you been here? And he goes, time doesn't work like that here. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, how long have I been here? Did I just die? He's like I said, time doesn't work like that here. I'm like, what does that mean? And he goes, it doesn't matter. There's no future. There's no past. Everything is united here. That doesn't make sense. My body is still warm up there. He's like, maybe it's been years. Maybe something changed in you. And I said, well, okay, where am I? And he's like, oh, it's not a place. This is where you want it to be. This was appealing to you. Not that I wanted to be dead, but I said, is this field? Is this heaven? He's like, not really. This is what may bring you peace or more comfort. And I said, okay, are you comfortable? He said, yeah, I'm comfortable or something like that. And I said, what have you been doing this whole time?
Yeah.
You know?
It's such a huge question.
Right. And then once again, he says, time doesn't work like that here. I'm like, where is here? He's like, here is everywhere. God, what are you talking about? Are you actually my brother, or is this a dream? He's like, I'm not sure. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, do you miss us? He said something like, I don't have to, or something like that. Or almost as if he's still here. I said, we miss you. He said, I know. I just started pitter-pattering him with questions, because I said, are my kids going to be okay? How can I go visit my kids? If you can visit me, can I visit them? He's like, it's possible. He would not give me yes or no answers. I'm like, oh my God, tell me, have you come to me before? And he said, something stupid, like, what do you think? And I'm like, oh my God. It's like, answer my question. It was awful in a way. And then I walked a few steps forward and he put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, Josh. I go, yeah. He goes, don't worry about it. And I said, but my kids, my family, how will they live without me? And he said, like, there's so much more than that. They'll be fine. You'll be fine. Let it go. And I'm like, I can't. I need to see them graduate. I want to see them get married. I can't imagine how Desi and Julian would get along without me. And he just said, don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. And then, like, in my dream, all of a sudden I felt peace. Yeah, I like didn't feel as afraid. And because Ian seemed so happy and because he suffered so much before he died and all this stuff, and he was in such a good spirit, I felt like that it's okay. And I turned around and he was gone. And then I woke up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's almost like he gave you a little piece of what it's like. He's like, okay, you're curious about the other side. So like, I'm going to give you the tiniest glimpse.
Right. But not answer any questions.
Yeah. I can't and that's breaking a rule or something.
Yeah.
Or people call it cheating, I guess, if they tell you too much.
Yeah. But how weird is it that my brain, which is a panicked brain, allowed me to stay asleep after I died? That doesn't ever happen. Like my body, my physical body takes over, wakes me up and spares me from the trauma. But it's almost like my mind knew that in the end, it wasn't going to be trauma, and it let me deal with it and go through it for the first time ever. And then after I got through that bad part, I got to see Ian. So it was like almost like my mind knew that, like, even though this is really scary and your heart rate's probably really high in real life, like there's something else in store for you or something, because, you know, people don't, at least most people that I know, rarely die in their dreams. And I've never died in a dream. I've also never seen Ian in a dream for a long time anywhere than on the edge of my bed.
Right.
So it was really weird. It wasn't even, nothing was familiar. The car wasn't familiar. The street wasn't familiar. Nothing was familiar. Nothing was mine. I had no memories of this field or this. We like crashed into a wall somewhere that I'd never seen before. And it was like all new. And it just didn't seem like it came out of my mind. It just seemed like it was more than that. It was really crazy. And I'll never forget it. All the answers that I gave you that he gave me, like none of them aren't exact, but it's the gist of what it was.
Yeah, the feeling.
He had an attitude of like a shrugged shoulder attitude, like, it's okay, like, relax. Like, why are you so worked up? And I'm like, because I'm fucking dead.
Right. This just happened.
I don't want to be dead.
Yeah.
But he made it seem like maybe it didn't just happen. Like in the dream.
Yeah.
Like it, and I'm like, I'm like, how long? Because I remember asking, how long have I been here? How long have you been here? And he would always tell me that, like, basically your concept of time from the waking world or the living world, it has no meaning here. So stop thinking like that.
That's so amazing. It's also like him putting his hand on your shoulder and saying, don't worry about it, is just classic Ian. Like that classic was Ian. Him. Like he was there. As soon as you said that, that was like all I needed to hear. Cause the don't worry about it part. Yeah. But the fact that I had so many more questions to ask, that he disappeared, and then he disappeared, and then I woke up. Incredible. That's
like why I could have woken up after I chased him for a while or after a bunch of other stuff happened. But like, he put his hand on my shoulder, said it was going to be okay. I asked another question. I turned around, he was gone, and I woke up, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to remember this dream, Yeah. And then I actually fell back asleep, and I had forgotten the dream. That night, I'm walking around the block with Emily, and it just came to me. The whole thing came to me, and I just spit it out to Emily.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I've been thinking about it every day since.
Yeah, I mean, that's like loaded. I feel
it is loaded.
I really feel like you got like this little tiny snapshot.
Yeah, but I mean, I still can't get over the fact that I'm 46 years old and I've never died in any of my dreams. And I've been close to dying hundreds, literally probably hundreds of times. And I've never been allowed by my physical body to stay asleep.
Yeah.
And the fact that it happened this one time and Ian was there, it was like too weird to be just a dream, because I don't get to, like, you don't get to see that part. You wake up before you die. Like, your body and your mind doesn't want to subject you to that. Like, but this time it did.
Did you see yourself, because you said you were still kind of breathing. Did you see yourself stop breathing, or did you fall into the hole before that happened?
So as my breaths got slower, the hole beneath me grew and grew and grew. It started the size of like a pin, and it grew until it was the size of me or bigger. And then I just fell down, but it wasn't a scary fall. That's the other weird thing. Whenever I used to fall in dreams, I would always wake up. But I floated,
get jolted. Yeah.
So I when I fell, I didn't even tell you this. When I fell, first it was just darkness. And then from below, I was looking down, and below me, I just saw almost like I was falling through a tunnel that was going down. And the dark tunnel opened up into this field, and I just sprung to my feet. Like, there was no, I didn't get hurt. I just landed on my feet. Looked up, and the sky was regular. The hole was gone. It was it wasn't real. And I still didn't really understand, did I just fall in a hole, or I couldn't, but it's, but as I realized I was dead, I was so panicked, but I didn't think about anything. I mean, my first thought was my kids, my wife, how can they be okay without me?
Right. You know how people get those near-death experiences in real life.
Yeah.
It's almost like you had that without the trauma of some kind of event.
I mean, it's possible, but there's nothing more frustrating though than waking up and thinking, if that really was a visitation, why won't you tell me more? I need you to tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me how you do it, how it works. How do you visit me? Where are you when you're not? How do you get here?
Yeah.
Are you made of physical matter? Are you just just energy? Who are you? How are you? Who you are? And
can you be everywhere all the time, or in a bunch of different places simultaneously?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, the funny thing is when I woke up, I was thinking to myself, I was trying to put it together. I'm I'm going to have some really good information about the afterlife or something for everybody. And as I went through the dream and went over his answers, I'm oh my God, I didn't get anything really. I just got comfort. That's it. But no information. There was no information.
I don't know. I feel like you did get information though. I feel like just that idea of time doesn't exist that way here. And you made this place, this is where you wanted to be. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of information in there. It's just not
That's a good point.
It's not the factual hard evidence that you might look for.
I didn't want evidence. Really, I didn't. Anything he told to me would have been evidence, but I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. He wasn't willing to share it. And it was clear that he knew, because he had a smirk about him, you know what I mean? He had that face with don't worry about it. You'll learn it all later.
You'll find out.
You're going to be dead just like me one day. And I'm he didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was he almost had an expression, maybe I'm reading into it, but of I don't want to spoil it for you. The weird thing is that it was a dream, and if my mind wanted to soothe me with answers, it would have just given them to me. It's in my dream.
Oh, that's so true. You would have created them yourself.
Yeah. But even in my own dream, I was not able to get any answers. And I was shocked, because I felt this is my territory. I'm the master of this time. Although I didn't know I was dreaming in the dream, I guess. So, but still, it was when I woke up, having that new kind of understanding that I was in my bed, and the fact that my mind, which craves answers and hates open-ended questions, didn't even soothe itself with fake answers or anything.
Did you feel any additional peace after it, or more frustration?
No, I don't feel more frustration. No, yeah, I know as much as I sort of knew before about at least the rules or whatever it might be. I felt very honored actually that he would take the time to do something so intricate. I don't know if the whole thing was set up by him, the dream, the death. I don't know that if the dream was, I did happen to die in my dream, and Ian took the opportunity in that kind of dream to go ahead and visit me.
Wow,
Or,
yeah.
I don't know, I'm not exactly sure how it worked. I also didn't ask all the questions that I would want to ask. Like now I'm like, I should have asked this. I should have asked this, but
Yeah.
I can't, it doesn't work like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, your brain is like swimming with
Yeah, I
one.
can't go
If
back
you
and be
thought
like,
you died, then like,
yeah,
there's like so many questions just about your family, let alone like Ian. Like there's two different
oh yeah,
things.
it
So
was,
yeah.
you're right. It was really crazy. The fact that in my other dreams, I was not dead. I was totally alive and in my bed, in my place of living. And now I was in a strange place, in a strange car that I didn't recognize.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was really
That is
trippy.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe if I had slept too much longer, I would have forgotten. But I almost feel like Ian was going to make sure that I didn't forget this one.
Well,
Right.
there's been times where
yeah.
I'm like, Ian was in my dream and I have like a feeling like his energy
Right.
was there, but like
Yeah.
was just me inserting him in a dream. When it's
Right.
like feels more profound or like
Yeah.
really strong, then I remember it no matter
Well,
when
this
I
was
wake
the
up.
most profound. This was the most profound one I've ever had because I got to talk to Ian for much longer.
Yeah.
And usually when he's on the edge of my bed, he says very few, if any, words. He almost just looks at me and I look at him.
Ugh.
But this time it was such like a meeting of two brothers.
That is so cool.
Like after so long.
Yeah.
And I'm dying to get back in that dream now. I don't know if I can ever have that dream again because, what are the chances I'm ever going to be able to die again in a dream? Like that just does never happen to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a to be continued, but I'm like waiting with more questions in my waking life that I hope to ask if it ever happen again. But I think it's a lost cause. I don't think I'm going to be able to ask them or get the answers anyway.
I think that's part of the thing where it like they can't tell you too much or they can't connect too much.
What if people on the other side are like, it's so great here. I don't want you to like kill yourself and let go of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. If they make it out to be like, this is the best thing. Yeah. Or where you just want to meet them there all the time, then like you, kind of lose sight of your actual real life because you're like, well, this is cool. I'm going to go dream more.
I'm waiting for a day that I see this fictional park in real life and be like, oh, because I remember it really well.
Yeah.
I remember the layout really well. And I just remember the trees and everything really well.
Wow.
Yeah. It was definitely daytime too, which was cool because usually in my dreams, when Ian comes and sits in my bed, it's still a dark room, my room.
Yeah.
So, but this time it was bright and very easy to see the details of Ian's face and baggy clothes. And whereas usually I don't get those kind of details. So there was definitely more to this one.
So he was dressed like as if he was 25.
You know what? Honestly, I don't remember exactly what he was wearing, but I remember he just had big, oversized clothes, big clothes, like always.
Yeah.
So, maybe I put those on him. Maybe that was some of the things that I did. It could be a combination of two minds putting together that dream, mine and his.
Right.
So you know what I mean?
Wow.
It's very complex when you think about like, if it really is a visitation, there has to be some of me and some of someone else in there. Otherwise it's not a visitation. So I feel like that my brain was in charge of some of the details.
Yeah.
And Ian's brain or mind was in charge of some of the details, but definitely I tried to fill in the blanks probably. And it wasn't allowed to fill in all the blanks.
Oh my God. That's still like so cool. That's
it is.
Insane.
It was really cool. I've been really actually happy about it since I had the dream. Like Like I feel like it was a little bit of a reunion, and I can sleep more peacefully at night now,
Man.
Because I had been craving a visit from him again.
He must have known.
Must have.
Thank you for listening. Visit www.clairvoyaging.com for show notes, merch, or just to say hi. If you'd like to support our journey, visit www.buymeacoffee.com/clairvoyaging. This has been a production of Wayfeather Media.